Welcome to the Disney Hour Express podcast. I'm Abbie.
And I'm Rob. We are two hopelessly romantic Disney enthusiasts.
Sharing fun stories, secret tips, and family travel experiences.
If you are a Disney newbie, or maybe a season pass holder, we hope you find this information helpful.
We turned our love of Disney into a unique boutique travel agency that books Disney and Universal vacations.
We've got a lot of stories, so cozy on up, choose your favorite drink,
whether that be a cocktail or a hot chocolate,
and enjoy the Disney Hour Express.
Hey Potterneers, welcome to episode 105 of the Disney Hour Express. We're so happy you've come to join us here.
I'm beyond happy.
That was a good dance.
I'm celebrating.
Awesome. Well, this is going to be a great episode. We're talking about spring break at Disney and our planning tips and crowd hacks. Are you ready?
Now, I'm going to tell you the main tip. Be ready for it to be crowded. It is going to be crowded.
Honestly, he's right, folks. Spring break is awesome to go, but it is very crowded. I can tell you that we were last minute planners a couple of years ago, and we happened to be in Florida doing something else. And we're like, well, let's just go over to Disney World. Well, guess what? It was completely sold out because it was spring break. Spring break.
It was
weekend.
spring.
I know. I'm mixing up my letters today like crazy.
She's
I'm so sorry.
She's getting rowed.
I know. I was saying I'm going to get loud and said rowed. I think, it's going to be an exciting episode for you guys just trying to figure out what I'm trying to say.
So before we get into the spring break of it all,
you always do this. This is like your thing.
Where I like to throw in. So this is, we're recording this. We're going to date ourselves a little bit. It's Oscar weekend.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is something. Now, Abbie and I, it was about the end of January, I think it was. And I kind of turned to her, and not to say that we haven't said this before in the past, and we're not unlike other couples, married couples with kids, any couples with kids. We've said, well, you know what? Let's try and watch all 10 Oscar nominations. Let's try to watch.
Being agreeable, I just said, sure, babe.
She's agreeable.
That sounds easy.
That's what she's most known for, is being agreeable. And so we did that. And then out of the 10 Oscar movies, how many did we watch?
3.
We watched 3.
We watched 3.
We watched 3 of them. So we're a Disney podcast, so we're not going to bore you with all of our movie talk and stuff. But the 3 movies that we watched are
Conclave,
which
Wicked,
Part 1, and
Anora.
That's it. That's all we made it through. We were looking at some other ones, and we were going to watch the whatchamacallit with Timothy Chalamet. We started watching it, but it's technically only in theaters, so we were kind of watching a bootleg copy of it, and then we turned it off. And that was with Bob Dylan. It's the story of the Bob Dylan movie. Which probably would have been a good film to watch, but we didn't get there. So,
right.
Real quick, I'm going to talk. We're not going to go too crazy. So we're going over the nominees for Best Picture are Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and like I said, Wicked. Which we've only seen the 3 of them. So, being that we've only seen 3 of those movies, what do you think is going to win? What's your pick for Best Picture?
Listen, everybody loves Wicked. I think it's really good. I was so impressed with the sets.
Yes.
Anora, it was an interesting story, but I would never recommend it to anyone.
Yes.
Conclave surprised me completely. It was really, I mean, there's a main actor that you just like go through it with him and you really connect to him.
Ralph Fiennes.
And so there was something about
And that's Ralph Fiennes
that I really enjoyed. So I actually thought it was really good. I hate to say that, like, I thought, I did think Wicked was good. We listen to the soundtrack all the time. But as far as a movie goes, like, I totally related, not related. There was no relation that I could have possibly had to Conclave.
It's Ralph Fiennes. Sorry, I said Ralph Fiennes.
But I thought that was pretty good. I thought it was good. I think it's going to be a winner of some awards. How about you?
So we picked all that. Well, I mean, just the natural, I'll tell you, like, everyone's, because of the late, like, everyone's picking Anora to win. That
blows my mind. I just don't see how that's a winner. Like, I don't see how it's a winner.
That movie just did not, like...
It didn't resonate with us.
Yeah, it did not. So then we're saying this, like, because... So you're going to listen to this on the Monday. You're going to hear this after the Oscars are picked. So we don't know what they are. It's Thursday for us. We don't know what is coming out yet or what's going to get picked. But Anora just didn't see... It was like, this movie is... I was like...
It's the exact opposite of Conclave.
Let's like just say that. Charming. It's like not charming. It was like just a lot of screaming and yelling at people and then people acting straight. I don't know what it was lost on us. Now, I was listening to a podcast and they were explaining that if you look at it, like the actors in it, because of the fact that we found them so annoying, that means they were doing a good job at acting, right? Because we found these people.
Well, I think that the gentleman actor was supposed to be like annoying and
and then, but even like she was like then she was just like yelling at one point. Like one point of the movie is her just yelling, like just screaming.
It disturbed your nap.
It did a little bit. And anyway, so that's what I think. Conclave was of the three movies that we saw. It was like the most. It was the most compelling movie. So, and it was a good movie. I liked it.
Yeah.
We're not going to go too far into our picks. Like, again, we didn't really see a lot of them. You know, Ralph Fiennes did a very good job. So I can't pick really any of these because we haven't seen enough of the movies.
We've
the ones
got
that
a
were
lot of
nominated
movies to watch on Saturday.
I mean, maybe Mikey Madison might win for Anora. That's the girl. Her name's Mikey Madison. Yeah. That's the actress. Demi Moore. So we don't know. Anyway, Cynthia Erivo is nominated for Wicked. Is she the best actress?
Right.
I don't know. I can't tell you. It's interesting though. Just with the Oscars, is like Wicked. Ariana Grande is nominated for best supporting actress. Versus or Cynthia Erivo is as best lead actress.
Okay, sure.
I mean, even though. How could you not just, Ariana Grande, how could you not be charmed by her performance?
Yeah, right. I know.
It's so charming and she's so good with the comedy parts of it and everything. And so she does a really good job. I wouldn't mind seeing her win. All right. Anyway.
So that
was our Oscar 10 minutes. We probably talked too much. But we're rooting for Conclave.
So far. I mean, talk to me on Saturday after we watch at least one more.
Maybe. And we're going to watch The Brutalist, which is 3.5 hours long. And if it's in the movie theaters, it actually has an intermission.
Oh, Lord.
If you go to see it in the theater.
Maybe not that one.
And it might take us a month to watch a 3.5 hour movie. Anyway. All right, let's talk.
All right. So today, as we said, we're diving into the excitement and challenges of planning a Disney trip during spring break. Whether you are a seasoned visitor or a first timer, these tips and hacks will help you make the most of your magical vacation. That's right. I wrote that down, folks, just for you. So let's get into it.
Can confirm.
Spring break.
Can confirm.
Woo-hoo. One of the busiest times, right? Because most school districts across the United States have their spring breaks concentrated within the few weeks of March and April, which causes like this huge, large influx of families to visit Disney parks all at once. It's a lot, right?
It is.
Now,
one of the things that I'm adding to your, I did look up a little bit of a crowd calendar.
Right. Oh, that's very good.
Okay.
That's very good.
Going back, so if we're looking at the months of March and April, right? That's what we're going to look at. I'm going to give you a slight bit of context into what I'm saying. So this is all, you can find all this information on thrill-data.com, which is a website. It's very extensive. It has way more information than anyone could possibly ever need, but they have it there. It's amazing how they put all this stuff together. So just for context, the maximum daily wait time in their crowd calendar is, this is an average wait time, is 61 minutes. That's the maximum average time per day of the busiest day. And then the minimum daily wait time is 20 minutes. That's the lowest average for all the rides, an average of 20 minutes. So it ranges from, so that now as I give you the minutes of the spring break, you'll kind of see where that falls. Just if anyone's wondering, what they say is the busiest week of the year is the week of 12/29, 2025.
Oh, yes.
That's what they're saying is going to be the busiest week. It's not going to fall in, and they're saying the least busiest week is 9/8. So the second week of September.
Guess what we're doing the second week of September?
We're going to school. We're going to school. Anyway, okay. So now just looking at March, right? So the first week of March, you're looking at the highest being a 37-minute on a Sunday, right? So that's kind of like, that's not too bad. Mostly mid-30s. Okay. Now, second week of March, you're up there. Now you're hitting 40s. The second half of March, that week, March 13th through the 16th, you're looking in 40s, right? So now you jumped up.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Still that weekend, all 40s. So the third week of March, you're back down to more of an average, like 39. I'd say the next weekend, so that's the last week in March, you're looking at an average all in the 40s, expected to be busy. You're looking at an average of 42. Now we're going into April. There's it's looking like about an average of 41. Second week of April, looking at an average of about 37. Now, it looks like what the busiest week of all the spring break weeks is the third week in April. So that's the 14th through the 28th. It has some days that are almost hitting 50. There's 48, 47, 46.
Oh boy!
So that looks like the week where there must be the most amount of schools out. And then April 21st through the 27th, you're back down into like the low 30s.
Okay.
And then April 28th through May 4th, you're in. There's some days there's a day in there that's 29. So that's going to be the lower of the time. So that's like the weeks. So looks like the busiest is April 14th through the 18th, which is a Friday. And then things start dropping off. So those 5 days,
which
are like
makes sense. That's like kind of New England vacation time, and everybody in New England is so tired of this weather. Of it's whiplash season, right? So it could be 50 one day and 20 the next. You just never know. So it's nice when you want to go down to Florida in March. Like the weather's pretty great. It's in the mid 70s to low 80s. And then like the low is going to be in the 50s. And so it's good time because also it's not a lot of rain that happens during this March and April at all. Low rain. And then in April, you're looking in the mid 80s. So it gets a little bit hotter in April and then low 60s. So some of it, I mean, you could also consider that weather whiplash too, because in the 50s and 60s, I'm going to have like a hoodie on hand and then I would shut it off probably pretty quickly as the day progressed. But great weather, especially with the no raining, which is what we get. We go in the summer all the time and like we get super rainy days. Our ponchos are a must. This time of year, you don't really need them too much in Florida. So beautiful. Another reason why you should go.
Keep your ponchos at home.
If you go in May, though, you're going to want to get the ponchos out again. It's not that it's like monsoon weather.
We're not talking about May. Stay on the spring break. Okay, don't confuse the listeners.
So another reason why there's going to be a couple more bigger crowds is this spring break, or all spring breaks really, do overlap with the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival, as it should, because this is the time of year that everything's budding, blooming, and looking so gorgeous. Oh, the topiaries. I am obsessed.
Wait, are we talking taupes?
Yeah, we're always talking
For those
taupes,
of us that
babe.
have been around for a while, Abbie loves talking taupes.
I love talking taupes. It's the best. So, okay. So,
Were
just
we searching for things to make topiaries at the Hobby Lobby the other day?
perhaps,
Yeah, maybe.
Perhaps I'm ready. I'm ready to start building my own.
Was I there willingly following you around? Yeah, I was.
Yeah. Sometimes you enjoy watching me shop, I think. Anyways, all right. So planning ahead, as we have said, is like pretty crucial. So if you haven't already booked your spring break trip, it's not too late, but we want to really get on it, right? Because the days for which you want to book your dining, the 60 days has already come into play.
Yes, it has.
And so
this is too late.
No, I mean,
we're the podcast where you're too late.
No, there's still going to be time, and we're still going to find you things
time.
that you'll enjoy. So don't you worry.
You don't have time. It's
oh
over.
My goodness, could you be any more of a bummer?
Late. We're already done. Your book, your trip's already booked. There's no point in listening to us anymore.
We do suggest always booking early. Why? Because the bookings, when you book early, you'll usually get discounts of some sort, right? So, for example, we wanted to partake in that the summer free dining plan, but we had to book that way long ago because that particular offer is no longer valid, right?
Long ago.
It's no longer out there in the universe.
Yeah.
So to get your discounts, you always want to book early and secure your place. Now we come to the use of lightning lanes. This is a way how we're going to kind of navigate the crowds. Not only lightning lanes, but we'll talk a little bit more about rope drop and what you want to do for a rope drop. But let's talk about lightning lanes right now. Or I'm sorry, we're still calling it multi-pass lightning lanes, correct?
Well, they're lightning lanes, correct. So yes, there's two passes, right? They have them.
Yes.
There's the multi-pass lightning lanes, and then there's a single pass lightning lanes.
Correct.
The single pass lightning lanes are something that you have to book separately. You have to pay a fee just for that one particular ride to get onto the lightning lane on that early. And it's by itself. It's usually not included, or it's not included in the multi-pass. So we're going to go over that. So I'm going to tell you, how it's set up. We're going to start off in Magic Kingdom. The way the multi-pass works is something that you're able to pick 7 days in advance before your trip. You're able to book 3 rides in advance. And that's the big difference between...
Now, I'm going to stop you right there.
Mm-hmm.
You say 7 days in advance. So let's say you're getting in on a Sunday and your first park day is not till Monday. Now, is it 7 days from the Monday or is it 7 days from the Sunday?
It's 7 days from when you arrive.
So, right. So it would be the Sunday.
Yes. So
and I think that's a good something for everybody to know because sometimes
and then,
you get a little confused.
And then subsequently, you're able to book everything that you have booked during your trip. You're able to book all those rides at that time.
And it's important to note that the 7 days applies only to if you are staying at a Disney resort.
Correct. That's the only way, yes, that you get that advance. Yes,
that far in advance.
That far in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Magic Kingdom. The way it does, they actually set up tiers for multipass that we talked about before. Mm-hmm. So, you have to choose one experience from this group. I'm going to name the ones from this group because the list is small. I'm not going to name all the rides from the other one. So, of these 4, there's 4 of these rides we're going to call it the top tier. Tier 1, Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan's Flight, Space Mountain, Tiana's Bayou. We have to choose one from that group of rides.
So let's break it down. So Jungle Cruise, Tiana's Bayou, Peter Pan, and what was the 4th one? I'm sorry, I have short-term memory.
It was Space Mountain.
Space Mountain. Okay, so out of those 4, I mean, we're thinking about wait times for them. Which one? Tiana's Bayou is usually the longest wait time at this time, correct?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. So it kind of, and again, everything that we're saying here is kind of based on how the first thing you have to know. This is kind of like we're looking at everyone in general. Your family might be different than all of us.
Sure.
We would say Tiana's Bayou because it's the newest ride, even though it's technically just Splash Mountain, like with an overlay of Tiana's Bayou.
Correct.
But Space Mountain can get very busy. People love Peter Pan's Flight. We don't.
Right.
And then Jungle Cruise is just a good time, right? You like
It's
going
a
around.
great time.
It's a great time. All these rides very, very busy, can have long wait times. Pick which one your family likes the best. We happen to like Tiana's Bayou.
Now, don't get discouraged, though, that you can only pick one, because you can pick another one later in the day.
Then there's the rest of the rides. I'm not going to name them all. You have to pick 2 from this group. My recommendations are, and again, this is an average family, average just general. Your family might be different. I would say to go on Pirates of the Caribbean and to pick Haunted Mansion. Those are going to be the 2. Everything else is kind of like you're going to be okay. There's 2 rides that are not available in the multipass. Those are single pass attractions you have to pay separately for. Those are Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Tron Light Cycle Run.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, I just want to back up and talk about the 2 rides that you chose, which are Haunted Mansion and what was the other?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, the difference between these 2 lines is that Pirates of the Caribbean line is pretty great when it's super hot outside or raining, because the queue is covered, and it's pretty cool because of the materials that particular area is made out of, the stone. It's for some reason depletes heat. I don't know. It makes it cooler. Now, the Haunted Mansion queue is very long and primarily outdoors. The fans are scarce, so keep that in mind if it's a really hot part of the day.
They do provide a little bit of a canopy, right?
They do, yes,
but
yes.
It's still,
but it's still outdoors, and it's very.
You're
stuffy.
Also going to be dealing with the fact that there's a lot of construction in the area because they're turning, all that water area. The riverfront there, it's all going to be turned over to Cars Land, so you're going to be dealing with that.
Correct. So that's going to start happening pretty soon here.
Correct.
Thanks.
That's correct.
So, but that's all. That information's really if you don't have a multi-pass for them or a lightning lane, because and you're deciding to wait. Now, if you have the pass, it's going to get you through the line a little bit quicker, and you don't have to worry about it so much.
We're not going to get too far into the weeds on that, because we are going to move over to Epcot, where there's weeds aplenty.
I'm into it.
Okay, so now this is our tier 1 rides. We're looking at Frozen Ever After, Remy's Ratatouille, Soaring Around the World. Again, I think this is one where you kind of can't go wrong, but from what my experience is that still the most, the ride that's going to end up having the longest wait time later in the day still even is going to be Frozen Ever After. It's still because just the general public, kids of all ages, the younger kids like going on it, and so it just stays busy all the time.
Yep.
I feel like you're going to have more of a chance to do Soarin', to get that later on, because again, the one thing with the multipass is you pick these 3 rides, you're not done after you pick those 3 rides. The first time you go through that first ride that you booked, you get to choose another ride. So
yes,
later in the day.
Yes.
As long as it's available. And, you get to see what's available at what time and so on and so forth. But we could get more in the weeds on that. We're not talking multipass. We're talking spring break using the multipass. The group, there's not a ton. There's only 8 rides they have to choose 2 from. I'm not going to list them all. I'm going to say, and it's a little tough here. This is a hard one because really the best rides are those 3 and Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a single pass ride.
Right.
So I would kind of choose, man. It's like any of these rides should only have very minimal wait times.
Right. And I find that so hard with Epcot.
And that's really the thing. So
because living with the land is not going to be like a crazy.
Yeah. It can get, I've seen it get 40 minutes and stuff just when it's really busy. And this is spring break. This is one of our favorite rides. it's probably like Living with the Land and I don't know, Spaceship Earth can get long. Maybe you want Journey in the Imagination. This is like a wild card. This is like dealer's choice. You guys pick what you want. Any of the rides available. Like I said, Guardians of the Galaxy is only available in a single pass line.
Right. Now, do you have a suggestion? And I know we're going to move on to other parks, but do you have a suggestion for when you want to book your single pass? Like, is it just, do you think it would be worthwhile to start to book it as soon as you can in the morning or book it for later in the day? Like, how do you think you should navigate that?
No, I mean, there's really no when it's booked. I think as long as you can book it.
Right. Okay. So it's more about like the availability.
Yeah, and it's something to do. Like if you're going to be there later in the day, the rides are the least amount of busy very first thing in the morning, and then late at night. So, but it also depends. Maybe your family's not going to make it to fireworks. Maybe your family's going to call it a day at 6, and you're going to go back to your hotel and swim. It all depends on what you're going to do. But the single pass ride, it's really just another multi-pass. It's just a lightning lane, right? But you just have to pay separately for it. So choose whenever you can get it, whatever is convenient for you, really.
Yeah.
Then plus you don't know, do you have dining reservations? Or you just do quick service and snacks around? Who knows? It's up to you guys. And that front, again, just my tip on the multi-pass is like when you're doing it, if you're going to rope drop, don't pick a ride right at rope drop because that's when rides are the lowest amount or lowest wait times.
Correct.
So go in line, do a standby for 30 minutes or something for a ride that's probably going to be an hour and a half later, and then choose your next ride for like an hour and a half after the park opens. Just so it gives you time to get in and walk around and grab a coffee or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to Hollywood Studios. Of the Tier 1 rides, we got Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run, Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith, Slinky Dog Dash. I'm going to tell you right now, Rock and Roller Coaster, throw it out. Forget it. Don't choose that right now. It's not worth it. It's closing in a little bit. It's going to be coming back as a Muppet ride.
But then, people are going to have nostalgia about it. They're going to want to do it. Take your nostalgia and
stuff it in a sack because it's out of here along with Steven Tyler's singing voice.
That being said, you must go to Muppet Vision 3D, correct? Until it's open. When does that close?
We are jumping the gun here. You're going to look that up while I'm talking. Now those are 3 great rides, right? The other ones that are left. Slinky Dog Dash is the reason I'm saying get rid of Rock and Roller Coaster is because Slinky Dog Dash is a great roller coaster. Like yes, Rock and Roller Coaster might be a little bit faster from the start, but Slinky Dog Dash is a great roller coaster. It's fun. Everybody's gonna like that run.
Yeah, that run.
Yeah, that run.
You said it.
So Slinky Dog Dash, if you like roller coasters, and Millennium Falcon, if you like Star Wars, and Mickey and Minnie's, if you have family that doesn't want to go on a roller coaster because that's just a great fun time for the.
So cute.
Everybody loves that ride. All the kids, our kids love it. We love it.
We always go on it twice.
It's true. So maybe that means something, right? We always go on it twice. Maybe you don't have to choose. Of the other group, right, the lesser group, I'm going to choose 2. I'm going to choose Toy Story Mania. And then if I'm just adults and I have older kids, I'm going to choose Tower of Terror. Otherwise, it's up to you. I don't mind. Normally, I would tell you not to waste your multipass on a show experience, but I think sometimes it's worth it for the first time in forever if you're going to go see that because it gives you access to like the front row,
and it's really magical up there.
We usually do sit up there, and it just seems like you're so close. And not that there's not really a bad seat in the house per se. I also find like you're less likely to be sitting in, like have your kids sitting in front of like a tall person if you're up close, but maybe that's just the way we've looked out. So you might want to use it on that. The only thing that's a single pass attraction here is Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. Star Wars Rise of Resistance. Yep, that's what I said.
You got it.
Okay. So that's Hollywood Studios. Now, Animal Kingdom Park is... this one's a little confusing because these rides be closing, and there's not many of them, and they already have rides already closed, and so it's set up a little different. There's no tier 1. There's no tier 1, so you're choosing just 3 rides from a list of from one list, right? Of that those rides, I'm going to choose the Navi River Journey. I'm going to choose the Kilimanjaro Safaris, and then depending upon whether or not what your family, if they're into roller coasters or if they just like getting wet, it's either Cali River Rapids or Expedition Everest. The other things are all shows, or like you don't need to, waste your time on that. The only thing that's a single pass attraction is Avatar Flight of the Passage.
Yep.
If I asked you to choose between the two, Cali River Rapids or Expedition Everest, what would you choose? I already know your answer.
Expedition Everest.
Because Abbie does not like getting wet.
I don't really like getting wet. Ugh.
That's why she hasn't showered. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. Showers at least once a week. Day, I said. That's the type of humor you get on the Disney Hour Express, I tell you.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to pay for that later. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of the roundup of all the rides.
I mean, so you got to do a little planning, right? You got to plan your itinerary, kind of think about what you want to do, what you want to book, because you can't just go into booking not knowing kind of these facts. Otherwise, you're going to make some really poor choices. I've seen people go in and book like the teacups and things like that. Or the carousel.
Again, it's all kind of different. People, I mean, I wouldn't do it for the carousel.
True. I wouldn't.
The carousel bothers me so much because it's always so hot.
Even, So just think about, where the lines are going to be and what the wait times are going to be. And then you also want to think about your dining reservations, right? Those would have had to really been secured 60 days in advance. So this is far before your 7 days of booking those multi-pass lightning lanes. 60 days in advance, you got to think about, do we want to take a small break in the middle of the day? Right? Do we want to take some lunch, get into the air conditioner, or do we want to save our big meal for dinner time right before we either see the fireworks or go to bed? How do we want to work that out? Are we going to order breakfast every morning, or are we going to get a grocery delivery to our room so that we can eat a bagel while we're walking to the park, right? Like, what are we going to do? So you got to think about all those things. I know we're already talking about our plan of attack for this coming trip that we're going to go on. And we know that so breakfast is probably going to be a grab and go for us, something in the room. And then we'll probably continue on with our lunch being the heavier meal of the day.
Yes.
But that, we're not tied down just yet. We're kind of trying to think about how we want to go about that. And that's definitely a big family conversation. You know your family best, right? And you know what you're going to do.
You really don't want to be sitting on a big, heavy breakfast as you're going into the parks,
Not really, but you want to make sure you have the proper fuel.
You gotta get a base.
Day. You don't want to be hangry.
You gotta get a base.
But if you're going for April,
I'm all about that base.
Got to get dining reservations. Don't go and think that you're going to be able to just walk in places. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be a brutal awakening. Dining reservations are a must.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. If you're going ahead and you want to sit down, reserve in advance.
So part of those crowd hacks, we're always talking about rope drop strategy. When we say arrive early to the parks, we mean it. If that park opens up at 8:30, you're not getting on the bus at 8:15. You're getting on the bus at 7:45. You're making sure, because you have to keep in mind that the bus drops you off at the bus port, right? And then you've got to walk from there to the entrance. At the entrance, you need to go through security. You need to figure that all that stuff. It takes time. And then once you get through security, they'll either let you into the gates at that time. Then you can start slowly moving forward to whichever part of the park you're going to. But stuff takes time. Security takes way longer than you ever want it to. If you're lucky and you don't have a stroller and you don't have a bag with glasses in it or water bottles or anything, awesome. Good for you. But the rest of the world that's traveling with kids and has backpacks and has snacks and has tablets and water bottles and sunglasses, I mean, we get stopped all the time. So definitely take security into consideration. Another part that you want to, by the way, I did look up when the last Muppet 3D is, and it's going to be June 7th.
Fantastic.
Is the last showing. So
Fantastic.
You guys are good for spring break.
Fantastic.
So another thing you want to do is if you are like, let's say going with teenagers, you might want to take advantage of the single rider lines. Single rider lines allow a little bit of faster access to the ride. Now, I wasn't, to be honest, some of the single rider lines are hard to know what they are until you're in the park, because sometimes they open, sometimes they close.
Sometimes they're trying things out.
Yeah, what I've heard is that they were trying the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run single rider.
I think was in that. So that usually does have a single rider line.
It usually does. So then it was Star Wars Rise of the Resistance.
Rise of the Resistance that was trying it. They don't know if it's permanent. I'm not even sure if it's on right now as of this report.
Okay.
But they had, as of 2025, there have been times where they were trying out single rider line.
So the single rider is going to be usually next to the fast pass line, the multi-pass line, lightning lane line, and then which is next to like your regular admission line. So another one that has this single rider line is Expedition Everest. Remy's Ratatouille just opened up a single rider line recently. And then I believe that Rock and Roller Coaster still has one. And I'm sorry, we are going through all the different parks. So this is something you're going to want to research when you're, if you have teenagers or you're just a couple going and you don't mind sitting apart. And then some people like to wait in the queue, and then when you get to the end of the queue, they're kind of like trying to get people on the ride. Yeah. So they'll ask, do you have one rider, two riders? And so when you get to the end of the queue, you'll find this happen at Space Mountain. They'll ask for a one rider or a two rider, and at Avatar Flight of the Passage, a one rider or a two rider. But the thing is, you would have to have already gone through the whole line anyways. So it's not an individual single rider line.
There's really not much of an advantage unless you're a parent trying to get away from your kids. And I'm like,
so we are fans of the mobile order. Mobile ordering is so good. It's right in your Disney app, and you can just go ahead and pick out all the food without any of the fuss. And of course, your credit card's already uploaded in that app and you're ready to go. You mobile order, you just get a little texty back being like your food's ready, and then you're done. You can't get easier than that. I mean, it's awesome.
That's the way I prefer to do things. I'm going to tell you right now, I have not ordered anything from Dunkin' Donuts by talking to a person in probably 10 years. It's true. I've not talked to an actual employee at Dunkin' Donuts in that long.
Yeah.
Being able to, you're just able to see everything that's available to you, and you're not like staring at a menu. You could do it in advance, and you're not like, no, kid, you cannot get cheese fries. They don't have them here. We're never coming here again. That's right. I did that at a I-95 rest stop.
Oh my gosh, you did do that. It was the worst. My goodness. Everybody was a little hangry. So you want to check out the special events and activities, right? So spring breaks, like the parades, what time the parades are coming by, and what the seasonal offerings are, right? Like, because Flower and Garden's going to have all new things. It's going to have different foods. There's going to be food booths that are going to be longer than others in popularity. So there's all sorts of things you got to check out just to make your journey go smoother. And we also know that parades are a huge time. Families usually like wait on the sidelines until the parade comes, about an hour before the parade starts. So this can get really hot. If you're just sitting in the sun, you want to make sure that you pick a spot that's a little bit shady, or even if you're one that like wants to make like a dining reservation that comes with a spot to see the parade or comes with a spot to see the fireworks, you've got to kind of figure that out too. Extra magic hours, you want to check with your resort what extra magic hours are offered if it's just morning or if it's in the evening, depending on what resort you stay at. Deluxe resorts offer some really great extra magic hours in the evening. You might also want to consider, if you are an older crowd going, that you want to do the extended evening hours, which is a separate ticketed event, correct? Is that what's called? Or is
The
that
after hours event?
After hours, yeah.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah. After hours event.
Yes.
It's a different ticketed event, but it's a lot less crowded during these events because all the kids are in bed, right?
And so people, they don't generally, if they're there during the day,
they don't go at night as well. Usually. So you might want to trade it up. Just go at night instead of during the day.
And sometimes they have special perks where they give out like free brownies or something.
Yeah, sometimes. So, of course, this is all the information, like the basic needs: comfortable shoes, sun protection, water, and snacks for your day. If your kids are picky eaters, make sure to throw all those snacks in your purse that you know that they'll love.
Disney does allow you to bring food and water into the park.
Yeah. They do. And then water you can get at all the kiosks around there. They give you ice water. It's perfect. We've asked for multiple cups and then refilled our water bottle with the ice water. I mean, you can't go wrong there.
So guess what? They don't want you fainting. They want you going and buying little Timmy a box of popcorn. They don't want them getting sick and passing out. And it's a small world.
That's true. That's true. Yep. So spring break can be crowded. One of the things that I love about spring break is that I always end up seeing people that I know. And I always find it really funny to see other families that I'm friendly with in my hometown out in Disney World, because it's just it's magical. You're all there for your love of the mouse and your rides and the food and the fun. So it's fun to see other families there. I love that.
Just like Lando loves mice. And our cats love mice too.
Oh boy.
But they don't go to Disney for them. That was a great roundup.
That's kind of
No, I those are some great tips in there. Thank you for researching it and writing it up.
Well, thank you for putting all your additions to it. We couldn't do it without you.
We're just throwing. This is like the praise out. We're just throwing praise at each other.
Praise.
Oh, we should praise that. All right, now we're going over into. There's not a ton of news, especially in Disney, in the Disneys of it all. If you can imagine that, I have Disneyland California Adventure just opened up new entrance gates.
Cool.
The half of the gates look like what is going to be the first used facial recognition systems coming to the continental Disney parks. The U.S. continental Disney parks. Facial recognition, instead of scanning in your magic band, like it's gonna do that, and then facial recognition you.
So I feel like they did this at Universal, right?
They were trying it
years
at
ago,
Universal.
They started using this,
but I'm sure Disney's got some magic behind it. The Imagineers are working something out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's just something that's happening over, and be prepared for it. Have your face scans. Probably going to be optional. Who knows? But it seems to be.
There's going to be a lot of people who are like, hell no.
It's gonna but it seems like it's going to happen over in Disney. They're going to let the Californians worry about it before the Floridians.
They're not ready for Florida anger.
The red versus the blue, I guess, right? Over in Animal Kingdom, the Adventurers Outpost in Animal Kingdom is temporarily closed. So that's where you have the meet and greet of, you go see all the characters there, right? All in their safari outfits.
I love it over there.
In interim, Mickey and Minnie are doing their own meet and greet out in front of Restaurantsaurus, which is over in Dinoland, which is still there.
Okay.
But there's tons of construction down in Dinoland. Had like all these big billboards showing like dinosaurs and playthings and stuff. They're like demolishing those left and right. So there's not much left of Dinoland besides Dinosaur and Restaurantsaurus.
Crazy.
Because they want to serve food, but now you can see Mickey, Minnie in their safari outfits.
Okay.
Over there.
Those are my favorite Mickey and Minnie. I'm not going to lie.
You love them?
I love the safari. Mickey and Minnie.
There's not much else. They're doing construction over at Canada and Epcot. That's not fun. Like I said, the billboards. Yeah, there's not really. Like I said, it's a kind of a weird, slowish news week. There's a Figment topiary that's in front of Epcot.
Love him.
Do you though?
I don't know. I mean, he's cute. He's got a big belly.
Are you figmental?
Figmental.
He's cute and has big belly?
Yeah.
I mean, you just kind of like described to me. All right. So anyway, now we're going to go over to Universal, which actually has, if you can believe this, more news this week for some reason.
They got a lot happening.
So we did talk about Oscars going forward. Shrek 5, which might have been nominated for an animated Oscar. Who knows? I don't know. They just released their first teaser trailer. Zendaya is joining the cast of Shrek.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's something, right? But basically all the original voices are returning for Shrek 5. It's all everybody. No one has passed on as of yet.
Dun, dun,
Morbid.
dun.
Morbid. Epic Universe. Ho! When it's not busy smelling like sewage, it's going to have flying dragons over in How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk.
That's right. So I think they were talking last week about how they tested them.
Yeah, they tested them. So they're going to be drones that are going to be configured as dragons and then just flying around the area. How cool is that?
That's very cool.
And then there's actual like animatronic dino, like dragons, like that are going to like kind of roam around the park too. It looked like I kind of saw some tests of that too.
I'm ready for it. That sounds really cool.
I've never seen those movies. Maybe it's worth checking them out.
Yeah.
Just to get ready. There's a live action one coming.
I think I've seen them.
That's how memorable they were. Breaking news. Fast and Furious Supercharged closing soon in Hollywood Studios, Hollywood.
Not in Orlando.
Not in Orlando. So it's part of the studio backlot tour in Hollywood Studios, and that's going to be closing.
Okay.
So I don't know exactly. I doubt it's the same. It's probably more just like a partial of that. You like go on a track and then there's like 3D stuff or something. I don't know.
Oh.
Anyway, they say that they're going to announce a replacement for it soon, but no one knows what it is. There's no word.
Okay.
But the ride in Orlando is still open, despite it closing for 3 months in 2024 during Halloween Horror Nights. It has reopened and it's still there, but people are kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I enjoy part of that ride. Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. It's a handful. It's preparing to add Universal Express Pass to that ride.
Oh, God.
If you can believe it's the only ride that doesn't have it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a standby line.
Yep.
Which we actually, when we went, we waited about 30 minutes because we went early.
Well, we did rope drop.
We did rope drop, and we were staying at a hotel, so we got in a little extra early. Mm-hmm. And then they said it wasn't going to open until like 9 or something, even though we were in the park before then, and it started like going at like 8:30. So that's a trip. So yeah, that's something though. If you're gonna get the Express Pass, which I think is worth it, kind of, it's expensive unless you're staying at one of the resorts that give it to you for free, which I think is a great deal.
Correct.
Now, you gotta bury the lead, or I should say, bury the wand. They announced the second generation of Hogwarts or Harry Potter wand wizarding. The wands coming to the Wizard World of Harry Potter, Universal Orlando, are being released starting this weekend, March 1st.
Oh.
It's going to be a second. Now, if you've purchased these wands in the past, they are cool. They are interactive. Some of them. They had ones that weren't interactive, but now the majority of them all are.
Right.
The one thing about them is you go to you step up into a spot and it gives you and tells you what spell to use. And you're like, Wingardium Leviosa.
It's so...
And sometimes doesn't work. And then the kids are like, it's not working.
The actions were sometimes kind of like hard, right? Like you'd be like, go down.
I think what it was there's like a little like a sensor that would do it, but it just had to be reset. Like it just couldn't handle the constant people doing it over and over again. So I just think it would take time, and that's where people wouldn't know. So you just keep doing it until eventually, hey, I did it.
Sure.
But so partly they've like kind of renovated everything or refurbished and replaced, and now that they upgraded it, these wands are going to be available, like I said, as of March 1st. There's only 4 that are going to be available, and they didn't say like if they're character related or if they're just general designs, right? Because that's what everyone like has. You could get Harry's wand or Ron's wand, or the Voldemort wand. I said his name. I'm sorry.
You did.
I didn't mean to.
Do not say his name.
It's true. So yeah, those wands are going to be out. There's 4 new designs. They're also adding like this whole, like you're really going to be able to get immersed into the Harry Potter of it all. There's supposed to be like 30 wand spots throughout the 3 parks once they open. So they've added like 4 more.
Yeah.
And you're also going to be able to like use the Universal Play app. You're going to be able to register like as a, register your Hogwarts profile, pick a house that it kind of gives you like an adventure to go on.
Yes.
So it like tells you like, go over to, Hogsmeade and say this one, and then you get ranks and you get perks, or then there's like challenges. Supposedly there's something like where you have to, what did it say? There was, as I was reading it, we're going into the dead zone. It says like, did you fail to defeat the Dementor at Nocturne Alley Staircase? Guess what? There's an achievement for that.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's like things where like you're actually, like you defeat a Dementor.
Now, at some point when I was at Universal, I did, like in Ollivander's wand shop,
you saw a Dementor?
I took a quiz that tells you like which house you would be in.
Oh.
And then like when you go in, there's like this cute show, right?
Yeah.
And like, I'm just remembering. I wonder if it's going to be like more of a play off of things like that, and like them doing interactive
I think they
stuff.
definitely want to make it more of an experience as opposed to you just like walking around staring at things.
Yeah, like doing it all on your own. Yeah, you can like do stuff.
Yes, you're also going to be able to select your own Patronus, right?
That's so cool.
Yeah, so there's all these things. So it sounds like they're really stepping it up. So go there. You could get your wands at, any of the wand shops over in Harry Potter, and then you have to register them on your app, and it gives you like your own adventure.
Yep, I love that.
So that is pretty cool. Let's see, we already talked about that, and that brings me to the end of the news. I told you there wasn't that much this week.
Well, that's all right. We got to wrap it up anyways. Yeah. So we enjoyed having you here. Thanks so much for coming. I have no idea what we're going to talk about next week. Usually I tell you at the end of the show, but it's a surprise.
Guess what? I know what it is.
You do?
I do. We're gonna be picking out what's the best resort to stay at in 2025.
I love that topic. We did discuss it. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, darling. It's time to say goodnight. And thanks so much for joining us. Bye-bye.
This has been a Family Travel Planner production.